Misfits Gaming, a team that many people expected to be challenging for the top spot in the EU LCS. Now there's a very real possibility they don't even make playoffs. What went wrong for Misfits and how do they fix it? Let's find out what this doctor orders. Across the last 8 weeks, Misfits Gaming have looked very much like a team that knew what they wanted to do, but weren't really able to execute that strategy. An inability to play around the power of their compositions, and a difficulty adapting to new team dynamics has been the root cause of their woes. And you can look back all the way to the start of the split for these issues. In their very first game against G2, Misfits showed an over-eagerness to force fight and to make big plays. Now you might wonder if this was a moment of madness for Misfits, a blip on their radar, but that just hasn't been the case. Because week after week after week after week, Misfits continue to make the same mistakes. Like clockwork, at the 25 to 30 minute mark, they try and force a bad fight, and then the enemy team snowballs away from them. Now you might say this is due to draft. When Misfits get Hans Summer on Ezreal, they have to play around that 2-item mid-game spike, but you have to wonder how many times Misfits are going to make the same mistake before they learn. A second cause for concern for Misfits is their mid laner Senkux. Now, previously on Splyce, Senkux has always been a consistent, if not brilliant, mid laner. Unfortunately for Misfits, a lot of their success last year relied on their previous mid laner, Power of Evil. PoE was a playmaking mid laner who made aggressive moves to help Misfits win games. Senkux, on the other hand, is a more utility-focused mid laner, so Misfits are lacking a second carry on their team. So what's the treatment? How do Misfits fix their problems and make it to playoffs? Well, first off, they need to change their mid-game mentality. The best teams in Europe are able to force their opponents into positions where they just can't win games. If you play around objectives and around the power spikes of your composition, the enemy team will find it impossible to win the game against you. Secondly, Misfits need to unlock a second carry on their lineup. Hans Summer's doing an incredible job at the moment, has massive damage in teamfights and in games. But my eyes are on Maxlor and Alphari, because if that top jungle duo can combine with more aggressive picks this week in the LCS, then Misfits might be able to find the second carry they're looking for. So that's my prescription for Misfits Gaming. A mid-game transplant and a healthy dose of second carry potential. I think if they stick to this regime, they should have a relatively rapid recovery. Make sure you tune in with me to watch their recovery for the final week of the EU LCS regular split.